Everyone is talking about starting a business, but what if I told you that that's actually the hardest and riskiest way to become an entrepreneur? There's another path, one that's more stable, faster, and statistically way more likely to make you wealthy. It's called entrepreneurship through acquisition, or short, just ETA. And in this video, I'll show you why buying a business might be the smartest decision you'll ever make, especially if you are in your 20s or your early 30s. Let's start with the myth we've all been sold. You have an idea, you build a product, you raise money, and then you become a millionaire. But here's the truth. According to Harvard Business School, around 90% of all startups fail. And even among those that survive, most startups don't even make enough money then to pay the founder a decent salary. Startups are mainly sexy because the media stories, the Elon Musks, the Mark Zuckerbergs, the Jeff Bezoses, and so on. But what no one talks about is that behind every successful founders, there are thousands of founders who were not successful at all. They usually burned years of their life to get something off the ground that never worked. Now imagine this, instead of starting from zero, you buy something that's already working. It has customers, cash flow, systems, and employees. That's the whole idea behind ETA, entrepreneurship through acquisition, where you acquire an existing business. It means you skip the painful early years and you start at a point where most entrepreneurs hope to be at after about 5 years. Let's break it all down. You get cash flow from day one. You inherit an existing customer base. You already have product market fit where a lot of startups don't even ever get to. And you focus on improving and growing instead of just surviving. Think about it. If you would be starting a business today, then the first 1 or 2 years, you would just think about how to get profitable. With ETA, you buy a business that's already profitable and that you are trying to scale. Let's look at some data now. According to Harvard Business School, around 90% of startups fail within the first 10 years of existence. But if you buy an existing business, over 70% of acquisitions remain profitable beyond 5 years. That's an insane difference. But why? Because the risk profile is just completely different. Startups are unproven, acquisitions are validated. With acquisitions, you can see real numbers like revenue, profit, or customer retention before you buy. You're not betting on potential, you're buying performance. There's another reason why ETA is so powerful right now. It's demographics. Across Europe and US, there are millions of business owners who are in their 50s, 60s, or even 70s, ready to retire. These are solid businesses. Think about construction, marketing agencies, e-commerce, or local services that are making 200K, 500K, or even $1 million in profit per year. For young, ambitious people like you, that's the opportunity of a lifetime. Instead of trying to create the next big thing, you can take over something that's already producing cash flow on a regular basis. And then you bring in new energy, better systems, and digital skills to scale it even further. Let's do an example. Imagine you find a business doing 1 million in revenue per year with about 200K in profit. You buy it for a 3x multiple, so that would mean around 600K. Let's say you use 100K of your own money and investors and the bank will finance the rest. That means you're now controlling a business making 1 million in revenue and 200K every year in profit. product. You didn't spend years to build it. You bought it, you improved it, and you started earning immediately. That's how real wealth is built, not by taking blind risks, but by making acquisitions that are already cash flowing and that you can improve even further. That's also why sales skills are so powerful in ETA. When you want to acquire a business, you mainly have to convince three groups of people. First, the seller to trust you with their company, of course. Second, investors. They should really believe that obviously you can grow the company. And third, the employees. They have to follow your leadership after the transition. That's all sales. If you can communicate value, handle rejections, and build relationships, you're already ahead of 90% of people who want to get into ETA. I started exploring ETA around 6 months ago. The first steps were rather simple. I went on a platform called Flippa and I looked for online businesses for sale. I scheduled calls with sellers, asked a lot of questions, and therefore learned how the whole process works. From there, I subscribed to different M&A newsletters. Through such a newsletter, I got to a deal where I went into due diligence, but I decided not to go with it. But this way I could see in depth how these business transactions actually work. Additionally, I started following people like Cody Sanchez and I networked with investors and people who are also interested in ETA. And the deeper I got, the more it became clear. This model really makes a lot of sense. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. You just need to find one that's properly spinning already and that you can make go faster. Here's the bigger picture. Entrepreneurship is shifting in general. 10 years ago, it was all about startups, raising VC money, scaling quickly, and burning cash. But now more and more people realize that owning a boring but profitable business through ETA gives you freedom, control, and income. You're not chasing investors and you're not hoping for a 10x exit. You're building long-term wealth through real and tangible assets. That might just be the future of entrepreneurship, not starting but acquiring. So if you're serious about becoming an entrepreneur, start studying entrepreneurship through acquisition. Learn sales, learn finance, and learn how deals are made. And instead of asking yourself, what business should I start asking, what business should I buy? Because real wealth is not in starting something new. It's in taking over something that's already working and making it even better. That's the path less talked about, but in my opinion, it's the smartest one you can take at the moment. If you want to follow my journey as I go deeper into ETA, make sure to subscribe.